Good evening, guys, and welcome back to another edition here on the NE Patriots Talk channel. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. Thank you so much for taking this time to watch this Kyle Williams film breakdown. I had this in the works for some time. Me and Andy will be discussing some of the plays, at least 6 plays from a video that was taken from YouTube. Mind you, that all of these are their property. So basically, we're going to be using this for commentary and whatnot. But how are we doing today, Andy?
We're doing really well, Dow. I am just, like I said in our preview, after a long day at work, I'm super psyched to be talking Kyle Williams here. Like Dustin said in his little write up, I mean, he kind of was one of those under the radar picks. And honestly, initially, I was more psyched about the Kyle Williams pick than about the Trevion Henderson pick because, and these clips we're going to show may or may not prove why. You can decide for yourself, but I'm now excited about both picks. And Kyle Williams, just a little preview on him. He was our third round pick, 69th overall out of Washington State. I have his career stats up right now. He played in 50 total career games, half for the University of Nevada and half from 2020 to 2022, and half for Washington State from 2023 to 2024. His overall stats: 248 receptions for just over 3,600 yards and 29 touchdowns. He added a further 17 rushing attempts for 87 total yards. And this is all from Patriots.com. His 20 touchdown catches over his 2 seasons at Washington State tied for 6th most in school history. He also had 700-yard games at Washington State, tied for 10th in league history. And I believe, let me just look. Personal 2020 graduate of Santa Monica Catholic in Santa Monica, California. I'm not sure what he was as a recruit. I think he was either 4-star or 5-star. So you can look that up for me, Dow.
Don't mind if I do. Let me just quickly take a look. And by the way, guys, as I'm looking all of this, please make sure throughout the stream, please post in your questions and comments in the YouTube chat. We would love to read them at the end of our discussion, I would say. And as you come in, guys, please make sure that you smash the like button and hit subscribe. It's completely free and helps supports the channel in a massive way. And we do appreciate it. My goal is to get at least 100 subs so that we can at least have a good production. Even though we're doing this as a hobby, it would be nice to get some support from all of you guys. But when it comes to Kyle Williams, and yes, I will look up his biography, but so it doesn't say if he was a 4-star recruit or not. However, he did play quarterback, he played defensive back, wide receiver, and return specialist in high school. He played for Hawthorne High School, Naborn High School, and then finally St. Monica High School. And then as a senior in 2019, he totaled 31 receptions for 763 yards and 9 touchdowns as his team compiled a record of 7-2. So those are really interesting facts about Kyle Williams. And
it's really cool, yeah.
And when it came to Kyle Williams, on the day of the draft, I had no idea who Kyle Williams was. But when I saw a video of Dan Mitchell interviewing Kyle Williams at the Senior Bowl, I thought it was really, really interesting. If I have a chance to pull it up, I don't think I might have time to look it up, but maybe in the Discord chat of the Patriots Global community chat, I can maybe find that interview with Dan Mitchell and Kyle Williams. And Kyle Williams seems to be, he really wants to get to work. He really wants to grind football. And I'm really excited to see how this guy could operate under Drake May. And a little fun fact, Kyle this happened like a couple weeks ago, and I think you know this, guys. Kyle Williams worked with Drake May and the rest of the wide receivers and Stevenson and Hunter Henry in a workout down in North Carolina. And
Mm-hmm.
in a YouTube video from Kendrick Bourne, Stefan Diggs mentions that he wants Kyle Williams to open up his toolbox, open up like all of his skills and all of that. Like, I know that Kyle Williams was like compared to Steve Smith Jr. Senior, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Yeah.
How do you think Stefan Diggs could make a huge impact for Kyle Williams, considering that so far Stefan Diggs has been somewhere staying out of trouble and trying to be more like a leader in the locker room for the young wide receiver?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, Dow. I think so long as he, keeps his so long as Diggs keeps his off-field issues under wraps, let's say, yeah, I think he could be a great mentor for a young wide receiver like Kyle Williams. I mean, this is a guy who, when he first came into Buffalo in 2020, um, you know, allowed Josh Allen to, I mean, it's not a wide receiver, it's a quarterback, but he allowed Josh Allen to open up to his full potential. I can just I can look up Josh Allen's stats from that year.
And Gerard mentioned something really interesting if you want to find out if he was like a 3-star or 4-star. So Gerard said that he was a 3-star prospect per Pat's Pulpit, Pro
Ah,
Football Network, and NFL Draft Buzz.
all right, awesome. Thanks for looking that up, Gerard. Really appreciate it, man. So yeah, I think I don't want to go off too much of a tangent with this Josh Allen thing, but yeah, I think he potentially, barring last season, I think Diggs had, what was it, 6 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons. So as long as he can be a mentor on the field and keep the rookie's head in the game and keep the rookie, yeah, aka keep the rookie focused on football, and we can pretty much guarantee that Josh McDaniels and Mike Vrabel are going to be keeping all of these rookies focused on football. Um, if if Diggs keeps his um
Like if Diggs
jeez.
stays out of trouble and not like
If Dig, right,
not
if
goes into like
Diggs keeps his wild man streak under control, then yes, I think he can, you know, I think he'd be an excellent mentor for Kyle Williams, to be honest.
oh, definitely. So I'm looking at some of his stats on NFL Draft Buzz. So basically, his defensive rating going up against opposing defenses, he had a 77 rate, which is decent.
Mhm.
His hands are, when targeted, they're 75%, short receiving 81%. So basically, this guy is gonna be more of like your short pass guy, and we know under Josh McDaniels, this guy loves to run short screen passes, and I think that if Drake May can like masterfully work on his technique and his gameplay, I think Kyle Williams can thrive under this Josh McDaniels offense, considering that under that guy, Josh McDaniels never got some of like the talent that he would have, but now under Mike Vrabel with Kyle Williams, the guy that we didn't expect to draft, I think this would be great for his toolbox.
100%. And this is off of ESPN. Um, Williams had his first 1,000-yard season in college last season. It was 1198. And I'm looking at his 3 years at UNLV was 426, 601, and then he dropped to 541. Then he transfers and jumps up to 842 and then 1198. And his average reception yardage was 17.1. He had 14 touchdowns. The long was 66. His longest score was 75 yards in 2021, but 66 is his second longest. He also had a record rushing season last year, 22 9 carries for 57 yards, averaging 6.3 per. His long run was 22 yards. So yeah, this kid is obviously he's a rookie, so we're not gonna sugarcoat anything,
Yeah.
but it is kind of cool. And um if you wouldn't mind, I actually have his draft profile up. I can try to play it if you'd like.
Don't mind if I don't mind if you do.
Can you hear it?
I don't hear it right now, so you would have to like share it, but I don't know if you can do that. But
It's
if you
not
need,
any. It's actually not anybody. Oh.
as I was saying, when it comes to his more stats, like so when it comes to intermediate routes besides the short passes, he has an 80% rating when it comes to intermediate routes, and he has an 88% as a deep threat. So,
Really interesting. Very interesting.
and people would compare this guy to a Lad McConkey and a Jaden Reed, and
Those are not bad comps at all, Dow, as we know.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, sadly, it doesn't look like I have a share op with
yeah.
this video, which is a bummer. But
So,
hey, I wish I could share it.
so his accolades during his time in college. So basically, as a three-star prospect, Williams showed immediate promise at UNLV, earning second-team freshman All-American honors while hauling in 35 catches for 426 yards in a COVID-shortened 2020 that season. That was really good. And the one thing I like about Kyle Williams as the year progresses, at least there's some sort of progression. We haven't seen that kind of progression last season, and I think that under Mike Vrabel, we don't expect playoff success. We don't expect like, oh, let's go to the Super Bowl. The only thing we expect is progression. That's the only important key. And
Correct.
I know that people have been saying, oh, the Patriots have been are experiencing the hype. But that was because of Mike Vrabel. That's because of whatever the heck he's doing. But if you, as Patriots fans, as we know, it's heading towards the right direction, as we all know, because last season there was so much unknown, there was so much youth. There was no leadership, no direction, no nothing. And I feel like under Mike Vrabel, and I'm gonna say this again, there's a lot more leadership and veteran presence under Mike Vrabel than Gerard Mayo.
100%. And this is from Pro Football Network. And I heard this morning on Good Morning Football. This was courtesy of the one, the only greatest tight end of all time in Rob Gronkowski. And he said this, quote, "What we've really got to see now is how Coach Vrabel can bring this team together so they can have the chemistry to go out and play together as a team and go out there and win games and possibly have a shot at making the playoffs or even winning the division. If not winning the division, at least getting a wild card so that they can compete in the playoffs. That's what he has to do." So that's Gronk basically saying, to bring a hint of your dynastic form back, go out there, Big Mike, and have your team work together. And we saw shades of that in minicamp. We saw it when he was in Tennessee, where he had a 54-45 record. He had a winning record with the Tennessee Titans. He won Coach of the Year in 21. made a deep playoff run in 2019 when
with
2019
Ryan
when with
Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill when nobody saw that coming. So hope does spring eternal with Mike Vrabel, but let's I do have a friend at work who's talking Super Bowl already, but I'm like, let pump the brakes on that a little bit, Ronnie. It's time to be excited, but not quite that excited
Yeah,
yet.
we need to see how well these players can operate under this new program led by Mike Vrabel, and let's
Correct.
see if they respond extremely well to that. But as I continue, and we will get to the film breakdown in just a moment, but during his time in college, he had this one game that I think that no one expected, and I think that that game, it was like an unnecessary game during college, but it just shows how he has the potential. And that was in the Holiday Bowl against Syracuse, where he broke a mark previously held by Cowboys legend Des Bryant, 172 yards during the Holiday Bowl.
Whoa.
A game that I don't think that he would have played, but at least he played just to increase his draft stock.
Nice. Very
And
nice.
so his strengths, as we all know, so he has this explosive release package with quick twitch footwork that keeps corners guessing, routinely wins at the line with sudden movements and decisive first steps. His natural deep ball tracking ability jumps off the tape, adjusts to throws in flight while maintaining top end speed, rarely breaks stride. And that's with a crappy quarterback.
With a
Excuse me.
who?
With a crappy quarterback. I don't know
Oh.
who the quarterback
Well,
was.
I don't remember that either, but let me just look it up. Washington. Yeah. Washington State. Yeah. Their quarterback is John Mateer.
I don't know who that is. Thomas would.
Yeah,
If
John
Thomas could.
Mateer, Mateer. In
Mm,
2024 had 347 attempts, 224 completions, a 64.6 completion percentage for 3,139 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 7 picks. That's John Mateer, Washington State Cougars quarterback.
mm-hmm. And basically Kyle Williams carried that quarterback, even though he was like an okay quarterback, but Kyle Williams made him. But now under Drake May, he's gonna thrive a lot. But let's see how well Washington State translates to the NFL. But
Correct.
let's continue with some of his other strengths. He has a dangerous catch and run skill set with smooth acceleration, take bubble screens and turn them into chunk plays with natural weaving ability, something that we never had outside of Julian Edelman or maybe
Hold on,
like.
be right back.
And as I continue, so he shows advanced understanding of finding soft spots against zone coverage, consistently settles into windows and presents clear target for the quarterback. He has a vertical route running savvy beyond his years, masterfully uses speed variations and subtle head fakes to stack defenders, something that we never had when it comes to drafting wide receivers, because we always focus on the speed and never focusing on the techniques and the hands and blah, blah, blah. Next, he creates easy throwing windows across the middle, understands leverage and how to use spacing to his advantage. He has an impressive ability to maintain speed through direction changes and doesn't gear down when breaking off routes. And he has versatile alignment experience with success both outside and in slot, gives offensive coordinators multiple ways to deploy him. Something that I really like. However, here are his weaknesses. A good thing Andy's back for it to hear the weaknesses. So, unfortunately, he has lean frame, leads to struggles against physical press coverage. Needs to develop counters with corners, get hands on him early. Shows concerning tendency to drift upfield out of breaks rather than working back to ball. Creates unnecessary contested catch situations. Unfortunately, he's not a true blocker, but at the end, but he has the current
Yeah,
ability.
he's not a handsy wide receiver. I don't think we have any of them on the roster. Although, hopefully, Dow, you can show the clip that Dustin mentioned where he had that. I'm not even going to mention the particular play, but where he climbed the ladder against that quarterback to make the catch.
If
I
I
have
can
yet
find
to.
it, but there's too many good plays.
What?
If I can find it, but there's too many good plays.
Exactly. Yeah, but yeah, that was a particular play reading what Dustin said that stuck out to me, even though I didn't watch the video, but I
Yeah,
love reading about a wide receiver who can do that.
yeah. Unfortunately, he has his route depth consistency runs hot and cold, and sometimes rounds off breaks and doesn't hit landmarks with precision. But
And doesn't hit what?
it doesn't hit landmarks with precision.
Landmarks. What does that even mean?
I don't know. So basically, let me pull up this so let me pull up his let me see if I can pull up that route tree for Kyle Williams. So basically, this is what he's good at in the 40-yard. He doesn't have like the best height. He's 5'11", so that's the same height as Steve Smith Jr. His weight is a little underway his hand, but he has good vertical. He has a good 40-yard.
You mean Steve Smith Sr.?
Mm-hmm. Steve Smith Sr. Thank you. He has a good broad jump, but it's bound to happen. But the Holiday Bowl tape, as I mentioned before, against Syracuse, highlights both his potential and limitations. While he can stack corners vertically and create after the catch in space, he struggled when Syracuse defensive backs get physical with him early in routes. There's legitimate concern that bigger, more physical NFL corners will be able to disrupt his timing and throw off his game unless he's projected by alignment. His frame limitations aren't just about blocking. They show up consistently when he's forced to fight through contact. So basically, all of these reps with him and Christian Gonzalez are basically like a way. Oh, to answer your question, Gerard, we're talking about Kyle Williams landmarks. Unfortunately, I have no idea what that means in football terms, but
yeah, neither of us. Sorry, Gerard. Neither of us knows what that
but
means.
if you can look
I
it
can
up,
look it up.
But if you can look it up if possible, that would be helpful. But as I was saying, even though that he's gonna he will show some weaknesses, at least that Drake May showing rapport with Kyle Williams early on in like OTAs, it just shows that he's just getting started, blah blah blah, going up against one of the best corners in Christian Gonzalez. It will definitely it's iron sharpening iron, because if you look at who Kyle Williams has to go up against when it comes to cornerbacks, with the likes of Denzel Ward, Marlon Humphrey, Jair Alexander, Benford, Sauce.
Sorry, I have a visitor.
We have Chief Cat here in the house, but
she's pretty, but she's a pest.
that's cute. But
yeah, she is super cute.
Yeah. When it comes to like Kyle Williams, the fact that he's going to be going up against some of these good cornerbacks, at least you have Josh McDaniels, a master of as an offensive coordinator, because the previous offensive coordinators had zero clue of how to utilize their wide receivers. But under Josh McDaniels, now with more talent in his hands, he knows how to utilize them. He could teach and also we have a better offensive coaching staff. Like, even though Todd Downing, he's not like your true wide receiver coach, but at least he's worked with the offense before. He's working with the run game. He's worked with the tight ends. But the fact that Todd Downing and Stephon Diggs have been working together with all the wide receivers, it's definitely going to help the young wide receivers and Todd Downing, even though we've never seen Todd Downing as a wide receivers coach.
Right. So here we go. Landmarks to answer Gerard's and my, frankly, question. A football field has specific landmarks, and they are these. The playing surface is 53 and 30 yards wide and 100 yards long, with 2 scoring areas called end zones at either end. Each end zone is 10 yards deep. The hash marks represent a landmark system where the ball is placed and approximately 80% of the game is executed. Said hash marks are 20 yards from either sideline, and the area in between the hashes is 13 1/3 yards wide.
Those are really good information. That this is something I could like add into my vocabulary
Yeah,
because
I've never heard that. I've never heard them called landmarks before. That's interesting. That's new on me.
yeah. And as usual, guys, if there's something that you can add including to our conversations, please put them in the chat. We would love to read them and probably gain some of that football knowledge. As even though we're like amateurs, we're at in throughout every live stream, we at least learn some new stuff throughout the way when it comes to like breakdowns and whatnot, or like when it comes to like watching film. But it's fun to learn some new stuff. And by the way, guys, as you come in, remember, please make sure that you smash the like button and hit subscribe. It's completely free and helps supports the channel. And throughout the show, post in your comments and questions if you haven't already, because we would love
Heck
to
yeah.
hear your thoughts.
Oh
But
yeah, shout out to Gerard and everybody who's listening tonight. We appreciate you guys.
But now let's get started to the nitty gritty and let's dive into some film. And we're going to be starting off with the play against the Oregon State Beavers. So let's pull out that footage and we can start right here. So in this video, Kyle Williams will be wearing number 2, even though in the NFL he's wearing number 18, basically wearing Matthew Slater's number, but at least Kyle Williams acknowledged that he will be playing his butt off, fulfilling Slater's legacy as wearing number 18. What are your thoughts on him wearing number 18, even though he's wearing 2 in college?
Yeah, I mean, a rookie wearing number 18, I'm I'm not so sure I completely agree with that, given that it was Matt Slater's number and he was our captain for, I'd have to look up how many years, but it was a lot. So I beg to differ a little bit with that, but you know, when you really boil it down for me, I mean, a jersey number is a jersey number. Obviously, the biggest legends have theirs retired. No Patriot will ever again wear number 12. No Patriot will ever again probably wear number 87 or 11. Um, so it's not a big problem. I just think it's a but instead of looking at it as a slight to Matthew Slater, it could be like, you know, actually no, I don't want to.
Because I know Justin Jefferson also wears number 18, even though he wore number 2 at LSU.
He
But
did really. Justin Jefferson did the same thing, 2 to 18.
yeah,
Hmm.
and now he wears an 18 for the
Interesting.
Vikings. So basically, if Kyle Williams is like the same way, even though both Travion Henderson and Kyle Williams are wearing 2 of the great leaders' numbers, 32 and 18, Devin McCourty and Matthew Slater. Hopefully, these 2 can live on these legacies. But
Exactly,
let's
and that was going to be my point. Hopefully, that's okay. Kyle and Trivion carry on the legacies of these Patriots past, even though they were on the opposite side of the ball.
Yep. But let's get started with the film breakdown. So basically, Kyle Williams is going to be in your far right. Let me just pull out my notes so I don't like forget. So basically, this is going to be, so this first play, this is going to be a short pass. So basically, you see him on the right, and then you see him shifting to his left, and then dodging corners, and then boosts his speed. What are your thoughts on making
Off
breaking
to
at
the
his
races, man. It was not an Edelman over the middle catch, but that was, play that again, because I think what I saw here was quarterback and wide receiver reading coverage perfectly. And watch what Williams does there. Dodges, I think that's a linebacker there. Throws him off. and then runs nearly half the field for a touchdown. That is change of direction, that is quickness. And that's what you want in a wide receiver. You want flashiness. Again, like what we talked about. He's not a handsy receiver, but he does have that quickness about him that, where you can outrun, the linebacker or the cornerback and make a big game like that and score a touchdown.
Yeah, exactly. Like the problem we had when it comes to drafting wide receivers is because they have the speed. Unfortunately, they don't have like the hands, I would say, to make contested catches. And that was the problem even under the Brady era, because we outside of Julian Edelman, there weren't and Randy Moss, there weren't any other good homegrown wide receivers that, well, I wouldn't say Randy Moss was an homegrown. Maybe Julian
Moss
Edelman.
came from Vegas, I believe.
Vegas and
But
Minnesota. But
yeah, and our homegrown, who did we have as homegrown wide receiver? It was receivers. It was Patton and Brown early in the dynasty, and then really it was only Edelman late in the dynasty because Amendola came over from the Rams and Hogan came over from the Bills. So your
and
homegrown
Dorsett came from
receiver.
the Colts. Gordon came from
Who?
Dorsett came from the Colts.
Yeah. So your
Oh,
only
Deion Branch.
homegrown receiving threat.
Thank you, Off Grid Tax Advisors. He mentioned Deion Branch.
Deion Branch. Yes, thank you. And then, but of course, the later part of the dynasty, all homegrown potential pass catching threats. You had Edelman, Gronk, and James White.
Mm-hmm.
And that was obviously one a wide receiver, a tight end, and a running back. But
it doesn't help.
I mean, among the dynastic teams, New England definitely has the fewest homegrown receiving talents, which is honestly an interesting stat.
Yeah, it's not like the best stat as a Patriots fan to hear, but as time goes on, you need to realize that if you have like homegrown wide receivers, now that we have Pop and we now have Booty, we have I know two controversial names that I don't even want to say, but it is what it is. But
now there's Pop, there's Boutte, there's potentially Chisholm, potentially Williams. Well, we know Williams is going to make the roster. We can be 75% sure Chisholm's going to make the roster.
We're all Chisholm supporters because
there are a few fans who aren't. I did get a YouTube comment the other day that said I'm sick of hearing about Chisholm, but
we need to see with the pads on.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, oh, Pats fans are only hoping he's Edelman. I'm like, dude, do you not realize what he did with Cooper Kupp's records out there at Eastern Washington?
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp, you're talking, a guy who won the Triple Crown. So that's not nothing to sneeze at right there. Okay, let's move on to another Kyle Williams play.
And this was 4th and 1. They would have scored a field goal, but no. The offensive coordinator for Washington State said, we're going all in. And let's see how the play breaks out. I don't know who the opponent was, but we could worry about that
so
later.
You got there on the opponent's about 18.5-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
4th and 1. Crank the footage up here. At the line of scrimmage. In he goes. So let's now play that again.
Getting physical right there on number 3.
Getting physical with that either cornerback or safety there, probably. I'd have to say probably cornerback. Little spar with a cornerback, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of pluck you want to see in a wide receiver, man. I mean, and we have not. That is pluck we haven't seen since Edelman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's whether it's a handsy wide receiver, a speedy wide receiver, those plucky guys are the guys who score. I mean, they don't obviously per se. I don't want to say they don't mean to pick a fight with the cornerback, but they have to say, or the defender rather, I should say. But they do have to have some chutzpah about them, meaning they have to have essentially that's a way of saying grit. So let's just keep watching this play here.
So I looked up the schedule. So this is up against Utah. So this was up against number 21st Utah State. So now it's
so watch him kind of shake that corner off. Oh, he lands the corner on the ground, and then no defenders within a country mile, and he goes.
So basically, it was on the left side of that formation and a trip set with two other wide receivers, and it cuts inside immediately, and then the quarterback Matir, if I say his name correctly, passes the ball to Kyle and then catches it at basically at the line of scrimmage, and then the defender makes contact with Kyle as he catches the ball, and Kyle was managed to break that free. Something our wide receivers have the inability to do, unfortunately.
Not only can they not shake defenders, they can't break a tackle, they can't block. There are just like the litany of problems our wideouts have had essentially since Edelman. Well, since Jacoby Myers. It's too long to do. It's too long to mention.
Yep.
And let's
move on to the next play.
Let's not talk about draft picks right now.
We're focusing on footage. So this is against.
Looks like Oregon again. No,
it's hard to tell, but
not Oregon. Maybe no.
No, that can't be Oregon State. But we don't have. So I'm just looking up some of the home teams. It could be it's hard to say, but let's just focus on the play.
Let me just look up college football logos.
So it's hard to say because they're all wearing white. But if you're looking at the home games, it's Portland State, Texas Tech, San Jose State. You got Hawaii, Utah State, and Wyoming. It's one of those schools. But let's just quickly look at that.
All right, throw the footage on down.
So basically, as we can see here, Kyle Williams is lined up on the left side of formation. So basically, starts on that route.
A play fake. Oh, sideline catch. And he really showed speed on that play. Watch it again. Play fake to the right. Almost not quite right underneath, but close. That was a good throw, too.
You could see that burst of speed out of him. And
he's like a pew. He's like
this is
they
something
they nickname a guy who shall not be named the cheetah. Kyle Williams looks like a cheetah on this play.
This is why I think Mike Vrabel or Ryan Cowden their thought process was, you need a separator. You need some sort of boost, some speed into the offense. You need some fast playing movement. This is what you're going to get out of Kyle Williams. Mm-hmm. And I know that there could be some criticism being like, who is this guy as for casuals? But if you look deeper into it, and when you look at his gameplay, you can see he has the potential to make these kind of spectacular plays in the screen passes.
Oh, 100%.
Deep balls. Drake May is definitely going to thrive with this guy, with the proper development, of course. So I'll have to look up that
logo is Washington. That logo is Washington State. So I don't know who the opponent would be.
it's so the opponents. Let me just. So that could be Portland State. That could be that is it's between Portland State, and Wyoming, but
Okay.
I would presume it's Wyoming because they would wear these they would, but I could be incorrect. But let's move on to the next play.
Regardless, let's keep rolling on through the plays here.
So the next play, this one is up against Boise State. This is going up against Boise State, and the only player that you know from Boise State is Ashton Jeanty. That's all you know from Boise State.
Right.
And in that game, they unfortunately lose to Boise State by a lot, unfortunately. But let's take a look at that play. So
okay, so heads the defender again.
So many shakes.
Yeah, that means he's flightiness is a plus. I mean, there's one thing you want to see in a flighty wide receiver, though, Dow. You want to see him holding on to the ball. And that's what you see Kyle Williams doing on this very play.
So, according to the notes, so basically he was lined up on the left side, but at the start of the snap, he does run and comes back on a curl. Something that could be really interesting in Josh McDaniels' offense if you can play these curls a lot. And then he does a full 180.
Right there.
180 or 360. I don't know.
No, full would be a 360. I think that did he go only we could play that in slow-mo. It's almost like he did do a 360. No, that's a 180.
Yeah, that's a 180.
Those are a 180. But still, I
relearn my geometry.
That's balls right there. Like this guy, he's a rookie. When we talk about Will Campbell later on, it's like, yeah, he's a rookie. But watching this footage, you got to be like, man, this is something I haven't seen in a Pats wide receiver
ever
since the Brady era, if ever, correct.
And I think that hopefully he has the potential. Under Josh McDaniels, this guy's gonna thrive because you've seen that in rookie minicamp, you've seen that in OTAs, you've seen that in practice. Basically, you go up against Gonzo, you make these kind of plays that you made in college, and with the pads on, going up against like some great corners, he has the potential to be, I wouldn't say all-pro yet, but it has the potential to be like a Pro Bowler, even though a Pro Bowler is like voted by fans and whatnot. But it is what it is. Let's head over to the next play. And then this play, this is I don't know who the opponent is, but let's take a look at that play. So basically, he's lined up on the left side again, and this is man one-on-one man coverage.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wish I could understand, which is man, which is zone, read the routes. Unfortunately, that. But regardless, roll the footage now.
So let's see.
Another fake handoff. This is where he climbs the ladder against the defender there. In this case, Freeman, number 26.
This is pure separation.
100%.
You see that deep ball. targeting him, and then you can see the separation after that play. So this is really impressive. Something that unfortunately Jalen Polk failed to do, but that's because there was no proper development. There was no like direction to go to. But if Kyle Williams manages to make these kind of plays off script and like going up against these top corners in the NFL, this is impressive
Yeah,
game.
that ladder climbing. Let's play that again. Let's look at that beautiful. He is a play fake to the running back, I think. Is the quarterback. Look,
Yep,
you see the defense has to think that's going to be a run, and then
that's just beautiful.
And then Williams right, like the corner looks like the corner thinks he has the pick there, and then Williams just boom climbs that ladder and gets the football and manages to stay in bounds too. That's foot control right there.
That is foot control. I've never seen anything like this.
No, that's like Julio Jones-esque right there. If you guys remember that catch he made in the Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh. Not the Tyree catch nor the curse catch.
Correct.
Then again, I don't want to hear those catches.
Well, the curse catch, remember, Dowie won.
Yes.
The one we don't want to hear is Mario Manningham or David Tyree.
Uh-huh. But let's head over to the next play. The final play, actually. So this one, he's lined up in the left as usual. This is, once again, I don't know who the opponent is, but I would presume this is where I need to do my research on like some of these opponents, but I could presume this could be Texas. This could be Texas Tech. I could be totally wrong, but I believe this is Tech. I believe this is Texas Tech. And regardless of like which school it is, he starts up on the left side of the field.
Seems like where he likes to line up.
And then accelerates.
Oh, and look at the quarterback throwing on the run. And somehow, some way, Williams manages to keep.
There was a lot of pressure coming at him.
A lot of pressure on that play.
And then shifts his over to the left.
And the quarterback avoids quarterback. That was a good read by the quarterback, too. And again, Williams is right under the defender, throws him off. And you can see both feet in bounds on that play right there.
Exactly. And then there's also some high key separation from this. Let's take a look at that play again. You see, just
nobody near the quarterback on that play either.
Just slings the ball, and then what I love about Kyle Williams is that there's a little bit of improvisation with his routes.
Yeah. He can, they often you often hear about a quarterback being able to create. This is a wide receiver who can create.
Yeah, and if Drake May can make these kind of plays with Kyle Williams, there's gonna be
is there ever going to be
fireworks?
A Hem O'Roy? No, probably not offensive rookie of the year, but
he could be on the all
PFWA. You're going to be talking about, you're going to be talking about one happy quarterback in Drake May if Kyle Williams can make plays like that.
But then again, we have better talent in the wide receiver room than what we had in the past.
We do. But with the talk of Stephon Diggs possibly being on the PUP list.
Did you hear
that? Oh boy.
There's a possibility because he
ultimately would miss the first 4 games if he were, although Albert Breer believes he'll be ready to play on day one, but it's a waiting game, and we
Let's
unfortunately
cross
do
our
not know.
fingers. And if you're wondering, guys, why I'm wearing this rubber glove, just because at work today, I don't know if I'll like cut myself opening up packages of like groceries and whatnot. So it's healing right now, but yeah, that's basically what happened. But regardless, I want to read some of your comments before we get out of here. Mind you guys, there's no call-ins because I feel like if we do call-ins, it would just drag on the show and it would get boring. But let's make it concise. But I want to read some of your comments. So delusional Patriots fan comes in.
Ooh,
and
delusional. Welcome in, man.
He says, one, if the biggest things is Kyle Williams looks back to see what the mobile quarterback is doing and not giving up in the play.
Ooh, good point. Yeah, because let me tell you, man, I noticed the mobility of that quarterback, and again, that's something we've had a wide receiver and quarterback have not been on the same page at all for the Patriots these past 2 or 3 years, like at all. And seeing that's a really good point because watching this footage of Kyle Williams, you see a guy who was on the same page as his quarterback. And that was one of the key problems with Drake May last year, and honestly, why he threw a couple of those picks. He and the quarterback were not on the same page. And with Kyle Williams on the field, May, fingers ever crossed, should have that. We're not going to call Williams a security blanket for him yet, though he's only a rookie. And we're talking about, Ramondre Stevenson, Hunter Henry, potentially Austin Hooper, still as security blankets for Drake May. But that's something you really, really want to see there. And thanks for that question, buddy.
And Gerard comes in. I really love this comment. Steve Smith can't wait to see Kyle Williams. Oh, 100%. Oh, 100%.
There you go.
Because you see a lot of like interviews with Steve Smith Sr.
Yes. Was really excited about Kyle Williams. Really excited.
Also, what I know, going back to, I know we discussed earlier in the beginning of the stream, but what are your thoughts on Kyle Williams working with Drake May in that workout that Drake May hosted in North Carolina?
I like that a lot. And instead of waiting Chisholm not being there, I should wait Williams being there with Diggs and Bourne. I think Diggs was there. And
Diggs
Bourne,
was there. Polk was there.
And Polk. And to be honest, if Polk makes the team, that could mean he's learning something from Drake May and from Stephon Diggs and from Kendrick Bourne. But yeah, it was really exciting to see your third round pick there working out with the quarterback. It's something completely unmandatory. And this is like, Brady and Montana out there with, I think it was Amendola, Hogan, and maybe Gronk. It wasn't as many guys back then even. So the fact that he didn't ask a rookie. So the fact Drake May asked Kyle Williams, that means that just maybe this is a guy May feels he can put some trust in, which is sorely, sorely needed right now with the New England Patriots and the wide receiver position especially.
Oh, 100%. Could you see a possibility that Kyle Williams could potentially be a wide receiver one if Diggs sits out for the first 4 games?
If Diggs has to sit out for the first 4 games, that is a really, really loaded question. And the only way I see it happening is if Kendrick Bourne is dealt and Pop Douglas has a really, really shitty preseason. If both of those things are the case, then yes, Kyle Williams can absolutely be a wide receiver one. If not, and as we assume is going to be the case, that or we hope is going to be the case, that we see both Keyshawn Boutte and um, Pop Douglas making this team. I think Douglas is going to be the wide receiver one. But there it am I so what I'm saying is this. Is there a chance it happens? Yes. A remote one? Do I think it happens? No.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be it for today's video. As usual, Andy, thank you for taking your time to
No
do this
worries.
film breakdown with me. I know that you're going to be busy next week, and I'm planning to do a live stream discussing of like what are our expectations and key matchups that we're going to expect from training camp on the 23rd. I know that rookies report on the 19th, but since you're going to be gone, I want to hear your early thoughts and what are your expectations and key matchups for training camp.
Well, okay. So we obviously have our players, a long list of players we're going to keep an eye on. And among those are going to be Will Campbell, Trevion Henderson, Jared Wilson, and Kyle Williams. And other guys worth watching are going to be Braden Swinson, Joshua Farmer, and Craig Woodson. So that's 7 rookies right there. And you're also going to be wanting to keep an eye on the veterans, Stephon Diggs, Carlton Davis, Ramondre Stevenson. Stevenson, there's talk, he's going to be RB1. He's going to be RB1. And key matchups, I want to see Gonzo versus Doug. I want to see Douglas versus Gonzo. And I want to see Boutte versus Gonzo. And I want to see Williams versus both Gonzo and Davis. Now, the reason I say that is this. We saw in that footage what Kyle Williams can do to a cornerback. He can completely shred a cornerback. On the other hand, I believe didn't you say one of his faults was sometimes, it wasn't misreading a defense, but what was it again?
I need to pull that back up if possible, but he does have I don't know if he has like an inconsistent like
Yeah,
route
you're right.
depth.
You said he can be hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go to training camp in that preseason game with Austin, if we get a chance to see it, that's definitely going to be a matchup is Williams and possibly even Chisholm against the 1 and 2 cornerbacks.
Yeah.
And I want to see how Will Campbell looks against the linebackers and the edge rushers. I mean, we're not saying that Braden Swinson is anywhere near a top edge rusher in the NFL. That's not even worth mentioning, but it's going to be a key matchup because he's going to be playing Landon. Oh gosh, what's that guy's name in Buffalo? I want
Landon
to call him
Jackson, unfortunately,
Landon Jackson. Thank you.
Thing with Landon Jackson, it was reported that he's currently on the PUP list. But
he is okay.
Yeah, because if I'm not, I was a huge Landon Jackson guy. Unfortunately, this guy has dealt with injuries. He had 3 ACLs back in college. I think he had 1 in high school. So that may be a crappy feeling for him.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to see. We'll discuss this off stream, but I'm really excited to see if Gonzo can go up against some of these young receivers. I want to see Gonzo against Diggs because Diggs
fair. Yep.
blew the tires off of him in that Texans game. So basically, him going up against Diggs, it would be like a train. It would be like spar. It would be like iron sharpening iron.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Yeah,
the
that was it was in fact, I think I remember you saying that. You were like, "Really? It was Thomas that, scored the touchdown against Gonzo?" And I looked it up. It was, in fact, Stephon Diggs, and I remember that play.
but
And it's like,
then
"Oh, no."
again, Gonzo did have a crappy game against Thomas,
He did.
regardless.
He did.
But that's gonna be it for today's video. As I already mentioned before, please make sure that as you leave, please make sure that you smash the like button and hit subscribe. It's completely free and helps grow the channel. Reminder that our goal is to get 100 subscribers. It's great to join the NE Patriots Talk family, and please make sure that you leave the comments down below to hear your thoughts on Kyle Williams and if he has the potential to be a top tier wide receiver for the New England Patriots.